Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right.
It's good.
If you're a bullish trader, you are very happy still.
Yeah, really. I don't know. That divergence is a little unsettling.
I agree. So maybe we can touch on that just a little bit. But obviously, today is November 3rd. It's from Trading Education Blogs. You can go to the homepage of the website, either click on blogs or simply scroll down on the homepage to get the most recent posts for what we're about to talk about. So, in my opinion, we are now in officially nosebleed territory.
Yep.
I think that whether you use an overbought or oversold indicator, RSI, stochastics, really doesn't make a difference at this point. We're hot on the trail of a 5 week rally, and last week a lot of people thought it was overbought.
Right.
So, what do you think about that? Touching the resistance that we did today, or came pretty darn close to it.
Yeah, I actually believe that I would not be at all surprised if we got some kind of pullback tomorrow. I don't think we can go too much higher without getting something.
Yeah, that's the part that's really driving everybody nuts. It's not so much that we're rallying; it's that we're rallying in the best, and the most we can do is one light volume day where we pull back. Everything else is sideways or up.
Right. And we were talking about this earlier. Well, I don't know. We had that the VIX, the VXX, was actually positive most of the day. It went negative for a short while
Yep,
when we
right
were
over
up
here.
150, but yet it stayed positive while we were going down.
So let's not
I mean, while
assume
we were going up. I'm
anybody.
sorry.
Yep, let's not assume anybody listening to this knows exactly what that means. Essentially, what that means is the VIX should move in the opposite direction of price action.
Oh, right. Okay, that's true. Yes, that's
So what Marion is basically saying that is with the VIX being positive for most of the day. So here's the previous day's close. You can see other than this one little blip here where it went negative, and especially into the close where the VIX traded back above the open and closed strong, the market should be selling off. Now it did in this window here between 2 and 4 o'clock, more so from 3 to 4 o'clock. We did get some selling in the SPY.
yeah.
But the VIX was positive the entire day, which this should not have been positive the entire day if everything was completely in sync. So essentially, we have a divergence there.
Right.
So I guess that takes us a little bit into what we had gone over a little bit before, Marion, about trade management. Um, what does that mean to somebody who's in a trade? Because there's a lot of times traders can make a comment that is made as a black and white statement, which I think is the wrong thing to do. I mean, obviously you want to build up rules, but it's very difficult to like take one sentence out of a book and say that that means that. So if we could make a comment on there was a divergence between the VIX and the SPY today. Let's say you're sitting in a room with a group of traders, you're up at the whiteboard. How would you explain to them what that should mean to them or could mean to them?
Well, I think what it could mean to them is okay, something's not doing what it's supposed to. When something isn't doing what it's supposed to, whether it be the market or an individual stock, it's time to take notice. If you're long a stock and it's not acting the way it should, in a positive way, if you're long it, then it's time to take notice. Maybe get out, maybe trail your stock, but it's time to say, okay, wait a minute, this isn't behaving the way it should be behaving. What is going on here? What should I be noticing? So now we have something that's a divergence. Why is the VIX going up when the market is going up? Is it that's a fear factor that they say? So when the market goes down, it goes up. It is. Why is that fear factor staying so high? Is it because we're so overbought? I think it's definitely a time to take notice.
So in this case here, again, I'm going to ask as if I'm somebody sitting in the room with you, which of the two was doing something it wasn't supposed to?
I would say it was probably the VIX because the market was doing. Yeah, I would say it was the VXX that was doing what it wasn't supposed to do, because the market was, even though it was overbought, it was still trading.
So the market's still in an uptrend, doing what it's
Yeah.
supposed to do in an uptrend. So the VIX being positive was the part that was the disconnect because the market is doing what it was supposed to based on this.
Right.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it's a clear lesson because we never want to say stuff, assume it's known, and then have somebody leave the video saying, well, that's great. I understand it. But what the hell do I do with it? So now we can basically say, okay, going into the trade, or if there is a disconnect, we can say the first thing that the trader, the person listening to says, okay, which of these two, the SPY or the VIX, is doing what it's supposed to do? So if the SPY is supposed to be going up based on the most recent 5 weeks, and it is going up, that means that there's something in the VIX that's not correct.
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure we make it into a lesson and not just us talking. So we did get some selling in the afternoon, and we did approach that 212 level. Anybody who's been watching the videos now for us for the year, that 212 was the level that we were leaning on pretty hard when we were in that trading range up there. You can see that it's not the exact resistance level. However, if you do dig into the price action, it got up to it, couldn't get through, got up, pulled right back in. A few more weeks, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it. So yes, you're definitely going to send an email later saying that's not the real number. It's all, yes, the exact high is up here, but this is the real number price action was having a hard time getting through. And we are now right back at that level. Now, I also had a text message conversation with somebody before in reference to fighting himself to not short sell these stocks that are clearly overbought and clearly at resistance. What would you tell that same group of traders?
That is actually such a difficult lesson to learn.
It's an expensive lesson, I will tell you that from personal experience.
It is. And why not short them?
That is the first. Yeah, that was the question. Well, actually, it was. I'm doing everything I can not to short them. To which I said, I've been there. I've done it a million times, and it works once. But all of the opportunity cost and the money you lose by being stuck in a trade that is not the right trade. So, for example, today, what if you shorted here?
Right.
What if you shorted here at the failed resistance of the previous day's high?
Yeah.
You're going to beat yourself up saying, what am I doing? I'm a dummy. It's still going higher. There's no reason for me to short it. It's not the best short sale on the board. I should only be looking for long.
In that stock, because we actually had stocks we were looking at to short today.
Right, but they were already in downtrends. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So in this case here, we're making the distinction between wanting to short sell a stock that's already weak versus wanting to short sell a stock that is, in your opinion, at resistance, which obviously that is everybody's opinion looking at the chart, but also where you feel it's at resistance and doesn't have much upside. So therefore, if it's not a long because of those reasons, that means I should short it. And my advice to this particular person was, absolutely do not touch it. It could 1 out of 10 times work, and you'll feel great that one time it works. But the other 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be stuck in a bad position, and you're not putting on a trade that matches your probabilities. It's extraordinarily difficult to do because in your gut and in the price charts, you're like, it's not going any higher, and therefore it's a short. But it's not. You want to short sell stocks that are already weak.
Right.
And it's a tough lesson. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know personally for you, Maren, but for me, I know I did it a lot early in my career, and that's why I'm adamant about not doing it, because the reward potential is not worth the risk.
I absolutely 100% agree with you. And I did it. It's probably so often that it's not difficult for me not to do it anymore. Because like you said, you could, make money every once in a while, but in the long run, you lose a lot more than you gain.
I agree. And I think traders have to go through that to really get that, because, we even talked about it in the live trading room a little bit this morning, and it's not superhuman discipline when you realize that's why you're not getting paid and putting on mediocre trades. And that's actually further than a mediocre trade. It's actually a bad trade shorting a strong stock.
Yeah.
But we've all done it. We're not going to stand up here and sound Pollyanna that we're going to say that, we never want to do that. We always want to be real. But we will tell you from experience, it's not the best trade to make in the long term, especially if you want to be consistent.
Yeah, I wish I never had a losing trade.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ads out there. I got one in the mail the other day about making $1 million trading gaps.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. So I guess we'll start out with Tesla and earnings, even though that was after the market closed. We're all the way up here. It looks like it traded above 230. It's just about 225, 226 now.
Right. It pulled back a little after.
So interesting. Basically blew away the last 3 weeks and back up above into this area here. Again, something else that's really interesting too is trading earnings and trading a news catalyst is not even close to the same thing when the news comes out. It's not even close to the same thing from just trading the charts and support and resistance and trends. Now, I'm talking about when it comes out. For example, right now earnings came out, or something gets announced and price reacts to it.
Right.
Trading it afterwards, saying it wrong. Trading it afterwards is a much higher probability trade when the stock and the opinions on that news catalyst have had a chance to digest and then follow through in whatever direction it's going to go. So I want to make it clear. I'm not saying don't trade a news catalyst. I'm saying pick which of those two times when you want to trade it. When it comes out immediately is you better have your A game. When it comes out and then you wait for the dust to settle and which direction it's going in is a good solid trading idea that doesn't necessarily require you be flash on the keyboard and be able to really make fast decisions. It's a big
Right.
difference. So I want to point that out again too. In case anybody's watching a lot of the videos, very adamant about learning how to not lose money so you can be in a position to make money. I think that's the right way to do it.
Yep, I definitely agree with you.
So the SPY, again, we'll just touch on that a little bit. Up at nosebleed seats, pulled back a little bit. Didn't quite retrace the entire thing. So now you have to consider what are you going to do going into tomorrow's price action. We had actually mentioned the last 2 days, Marion, a lower opening in the SPY actually set up a buying opportunity because it increased the area of potential reward as opposed to opening higher and then pushing higher. So you can see here a couple of days in a row, we actually did open lower, thereby extending the difference between the open and the resistance level, opened lower again, which also increased that level as opposed to opening here and pushing there. So tomorrow will be interesting. Obviously, Tesla's higher now. We'll see if that's enough to affect without anything else coming out overnight. We do have some much different earnings coming out tomorrow. I know the one that you've been patiently waiting for 3 months. Facebook tomorrow, as well as a few other. Any other notables that you want to make sure we cover? Apple, right?
The Apple stock, I'm telling you, Apple has acted so well the last 2 days.
Got above the 120, staying above the 120, got up to 123.50. We have 125 as the next level. But again, you have to know when actually, let me pull that over. You have to know when the right battles are for you to fight. Now, do you want to trade it with earnings? Same thing with Facebook. Again, we can't make that decision for you, but you have to be very aware that that's a decision you need to make.
Okay. You know what acted really well today and got above the 110 was Netflix. Did you see that?
Well, we've been waiting for it to get to 110 to make a run at 115. I think yesterday's price action was a little disappointing, but I guess we should be getting comfortable with it now. We look like we're getting ready to blast off. The 20 crossed the 50. They're both kind of peaking higher now. Yesterday's close, would have expected it to make a retest today, but then we get selling, 2 days ago, we get selling yesterday and an inside candle. But I love the way it came back today. So now, even though it closed off the highs like it did last Friday, tomorrow make a run at 115. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think it has a possibility of it.
I do too, but you got to be aware of the 115 as the level.
Yep, exactly.
Got to know your levels. That was another big conversation that we had in the meetings this morning. We came into the day looking hard at some of the energy stocks. Chevron, again, yesterday had a $5 trading range. Today, $3.50, so about $8 or so in the last 2 days. But more importantly, this is really where we're starting to get some really good trades, is stocks that are breaking out of 3-week trading ranges and then actually getting some follow through. Exxon, same thing, but CVX actually dollar-wise a little bit more, but basically the same type of price action. So if you're struggling to find stuff to do, find stuff that has room to go, which means room from the breakout to the next support or resistance level, and has been consolidating for a few, let's even say a week. Those have been following through pretty nicely right now. The short side is kind of barren right now. I don't know about you, but I have
very difficult time.
Really short list. I mean, VRX coming into today, we were looking for follow through. We did get some follow through, but not even close to what we've seen recently. What are some of the other ones that we were looking at today?
We're looking at
Walmart was another one, not
BMW.
BMW. Actually, BMW is an inside day looking for a breakdown and got it in the morning, but again, just not enough energy on the short side to follow through. And it could be there's energy there, but the market's so darn strong, it's just not allowing it to roll over.
Right, exactly.
We have some other stocks in the same sector, healthcare, MDT, again, 2 days in a row. And you can see the target there just above 78. So we got another day or two possibly up there in that direction. And this is also a big one too, because this is exactly what we're talking about there. Breaking out with room to go. That's actually a really good illustration of it there. Let's finish up with the financials, Marion.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Don't really have a great feel for these as much as I would just love for them to finally get out of this lack of commitment. But is it really that? Do you think it's interest rate driven where they're just not going to do anything until this is clear?
I could definitely see that as a possibility.
Gosh.
And people just don't have the conviction in it right now, I think they're really waiting.
Well, it's showing because the price action on the charts now, it's going on 2.5 months where we haven't really moved at all. And the big thing to me is there's a lot of stocks that are breaking out right now, and these guys actually have attempted to, but there's not enough institutional commitment to push them in any direction in a clean way. We've had plenty of opportunity.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think it's we don't have that institutional commitment. That's what I think we're lacking in the financials.
Yep, and I think that the overall market too. If you're not really digging deep into doing a game plan and putting it together during the day, it's going to be very, very easy for you to overtrade or put on trades that aren't really there. I can't stress enough, and I know we covered this 800 ways from Sunday during the live trading meeting. You have to be patient when the volume and price action is not conducive to expecting follow through. Because and I'm overstating this, but I'm really not. It's not that difficult to make money when it's obvious. It's difficult when we overtrade when it's not obvious, and we train our eyes to think we see something and it's not really there. And those are the days that are really the ones that aren't allowing you to get paid. So if you have a structure for price action and you have a good plan and you can translate that into a trading plan, be disciplined and only take the trades that match your criteria. Don't overtrade. Don't look for something to do. You should already have something to do before the market opens. And if you don't, then you just got to get a little bit more structured on how you look at the market so that you can look for stocks that match your criteria.
Right, exactly.
All right, I think we'll call it a day. I guess we'll see what happens with some more earnings tomorrow, see how Tesla opens, see if it actually finishes where it is now, trading where it is now and staying there. Not necessarily the same thing, right?
Really, have we learned that?
Yep, looks like it's creeping up towards 230 again, though, so we'll see how that unfolds tomorrow. But just be aware of the earnings, especially tomorrow. We got Facebook tomorrow and a couple of other large caps as well. So let's get a good night's sleep and hit it again tomorrow.
Sounds perfect.
Thanks, Marion. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.